Hi everybody, my name is Jeremy Ritchie. I'm a sales engineer with Uplogix, and today I want to show you how to bring a web interface on a remote device back to your desktop as if you were on that device's LAN. And you're going to do that through what we call SSH port forwarding. What happens is the Uplogix local manager at the far remote location looks for specific TCP packets that you define in advance on a specific IP address also defined in advance. When it sees those packets on that IP address, it brings them back to your local desktop, mapping them to a different TCP port. And I'll show you how we do that. So I'm going to bring up a command line interface session to this local manager here. I can do that very quickly from the dashboard, clicking the CLI button. Now, on port 14 here, I have a firewall. It's a NetScreen firewall, and I have configured on it dedicated Ethernet, as demonstrated here on the screen, where the dashboard shows that I have an Ethernet connection to this device. I'm typing out show protocol forwarding, or show prot4 as an abbreviation. And here's what we're forwarding. We're forwarding through dedicated Ethernet, all packets with TCP port 80. Typing show info at this port level shows me the IP address that we're going to look for TCP port 80 packets on. So now what I'm going to do is click the forward link from the embedded Java applet. It brings up a window for forward settings. Now I've got another couple ports here. I've got port 13 configured with port forwarding, but I'm looking at port 14. I can click open and it'll bring up a random port. It's going to talk to my operating system and find out. It's going to grab an unused TCP port, mapping traffic to the local host IP. But I'm going to leave that alone and click open. So what it did was this NetScreen is now prompting me to log in, and I have the credentials stored, so I'll click OK. Now, I'll show you up on my browser here what it's doing. So it has mapped TCP port 80 traffic from that NetScreen firewall at the remote office to my local host IP address on TCP port 2392. And it's brought up that web interface for that device through SSH port forwarding. We have other types of port forwarding. We have serial port forwarding as well, and terminal mirroring, but I'm only covering SSH port forwarding right now. Interacting with this web interface is the same as if I were on that LAN. And this is valuable when you have no IP routability to the managed device, but you do have it to a local manager, and it knows how to get to that managed device. This is good for firewalls. It's good for other types of devices that you don't necessarily want to have IP connectivity to. Now that's it for TCP port forwarding. To just mention serial port forwarding. And serial port forwarding is valuable when you have a managed device, and that managed device, the manufacturer of that device, has a proprietary application that generally technicians would use on their laptop and connect serially to that managed device. That proprietary application isn't available across the network. So what we do is we'll have serial port forwarding bring that session back to your local workstation on a virtual serial port. And you can configure your workstation to use that virtual serial port as if it were a local serial port. And your proprietary application is now communicating over the SSH tunnel to that remote device as if it were local across that console cable. And that's it for today. Thank you very much. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me, jritchie@uplogix.com.